staying with us, Police Commissioner Khehla Sitole is under scrutiny after the Independent Police Investigative Directorate laid a criminal charge against him for allegedly failing to cooperate with a probe into the assassination of Western Cape top cop Charl Kinnear. But Sithole released a statement yesterday in which he denied that he'd not cooperated with the investigation by the police watchdog. Kinnear was shot dead outside his home in Cape Town in 2020 and worked on big cases related to gangsterism. To talk more about this, we're joined tonight by Executive Director at the Institute for Security Studies, Jakkie Cilliers. Jakkie, always great to have you on the program. So let's run through the past 12 months or so in the life of the police commissioner. First, there was the issue with the grabber related to operations at the ANC conference from 2017. Then came questions about his role or lack of action during the unrest in KZN and Gauteng in July last year. Now this issue from IPID to do with an investigation into the murder of Charl Kinnear. Is this the beginning of the end of the road for him?
I think, good evening, I think eventually it must be. President Ramaphosa has wrote to him in September of last year, if I'm correct, asking for reasons why he should not be dismissed or suspended. That has not happened. And even his suspension has not occurred. So it just seems inexplicable that these processes take such a long time. And in the meanwhile, we have the ongoing increase in crime and instability in South Africa. And this at a time, 2022, when we are headed for a difficult year because in December, the ANC will have its elective conference. And in the run-up to that conference, we have the various provincial and other events that is bound to increase political and other tension in the country. So yeah, very, very concerning, and I don't think any of us understand why this takes so long.
And as I was saying, Khehla Sitole has denied that he's not cooperated with the IPID investigation into the murder of Charl Kinnear. But as things stand, how untenable is his role as the Commissioner of Police in this country, essentially their boss?
I think it is completely untenable. The very obvious breakdown in trust between him and the National Commissioner and the minister, really, it's dumbfolded that this can happen without action. And of course, the structural problem here is that the president appoints heads of department and not the minister. And then very often, we also don't have a process, an independent process through which heads of departments are appointed. And we don't appoint career policemen or women, as is the case here. And we have made the point many, many times that we should go back to the recommendations as outlined by the National Development Plan in 2012, which said set up an independent body that does these appointments. Because what we need is senior government officials, particularly in the security establishment, that are not appointed from any particular faction, but that are appointed because of professionalism, and that can in actual fact or will survive even a change in government. Such is their level of professionalism and integrity.
And I was thinking today, trying to think back to a police commissioner who served a full term in this country without scandal. I mean, you think of the late Jakkie Cilliers and the criminal findings against him. You think about Ria Piecha, who was commissioner during the Marikana massacre. Yeah. She too went. Khomotso Phahlane also went under a cloud of investigations and criminal allegations. Now, Khehla Sitole very much facing the same. What is going on in that office?
Well, I think we only have to look at what's happening with crime trends in South Africa to know what's happening. So it's a very concerning situation. There's been a significant amount of research that has pointed out that the lack of stability in many government departments, but particularly in the security departments, really creates significant challenges with regard to predictability, competence, and the only way you can achieve that is by promoting people through the ranks. Take your best and most competent cop, and there are many of them, and appoint them permanently. And that not only holds at the level of the National Commissioner, but at every level below that. We have a police that is significantly overinflated when it comes to senior management. It doesn't have a budget problem. It's received significant amounts of additional money over the last decade. But there are clear management problems, not only in the police, never mind speaking of intelligence and other departments.
And what are the options available to Police Minister Jakkie Cilliers, especially, as you were saying, given the context of his own strained relationship with the National Commissioner? What does he do now that there's this complaint, or this has been brought to his attention by IPID?
Yes, well, he obviously is waiting and for the president to act, and only the president can, in actual fact, act in this instance. He seems he can. I don't know how he is going to react to this, because this is the same delaying tactics and frustration that we saw with the grabber issue that you refer to in 2017, where Khehla Sitole keeps on delaying and not collaborating and blaming other people, but nothing in actual fact happens, while security in the country keeps on deteriorating, and we all watch and wonder what's going to happen next. So heaven knows what the minister is going to do. Of course, the relationship between them seems to be so poisoned that everything that he does, probably Khehla Sitole will again take to the court for review. And this is a problem that I think we have to at some point confront. And this is the ability of people to use state resources to protect themselves, dragging issues out to the highest level, and making sure that nothing happens to them until they can retire instead of being disciplined.
Jakkie Cilliers from the Institute for Security Studies, thankful for your time. Thank you.